Okay, dear students, so today our topic is plot. Plot, elements of short story, or that is elements of novel or elements of drama. Plot is very important, and plot can be seen in all kinds of writing, whether it is a drama, whether it is a novel, or whether it is a monologue, or whether it is a short story. Plot, that is the story, or we can say that the theme of any drama, the theme of any novel, and it is very important. Aristotle has called plot just like a soul. That plot is the soul of a drama, and we can say that plot is everything, because if plot is good of a story, then the readers or the audience, they can have a lot of interest. But if a plot is not good, then characters, dialogues, or other things, they are irrelevant. So what plot is? Plot is, we can say, that a theme or the story in any drama, in any novel, or in a short story. Plot, we can also say that the organization of incidents, organization of events. So if just like a story, the plot is a narrative of events, but all the events, they must be related to each other, means they, we can say that the plot must be well knit, the plot must be well constructed, or all the events, all the incidents, they must be well arranged. Well arranged means there must be an interconnection among all the events or among all the incidents. But into the simplest word, if I try to explain what plot is, so simply plot is what happens. Okay, what happens, it is told us, and how it happens, how it takes place. So plot is what happens. In the examination, if you are asked what plot is, you can write that plot is what happens, or plot is and how it happens. Or you can also write that plot is the organization of incidents and events, right? So now just here we can look at the plot diagram, that is that we can divide a plot into 5 parts. That is that how the story goes further, or how the story is narrated, how the plot is constructed, because it must be well knit, it must be well arranged. So it is now divided into 5 parts, and it comes one by one. We cannot keep the second part here or the first part here. It must be, that is just like this. For example, 5 parts. The very first is exposition, the second one rising action. Okay, this is the diagram. The third one, that is climax, and the fourth one falling action, and the last one, that is resolution. So now exposition, the very first exposition. What is exposition? We can say that now here when the story starts, the plot starts, the beginning of a story, because we are completely unaware of the theme, unaware of the plot, we don't have any kind of information. So all the information are given to the readers or given to the audience. So we can say that the characters are exposed, the story is exposed. So exposition is the very first part of the plot, beginning of a story. And what happens in this? Characters are introduced, setting of the story takes place, and we are introduced to the main problem. What is the main conflict, or what the things are taking among all of the characters, or what is being done, or what is going on. So that is the very first exposition. The second one, now because we have been introduced with all the characters of the story, so now the action will be rising. They will be taken place to the higher and higher. So action will be rising here, rising action. Now the conflict is developed, because the problem, the conflict is introduced very well, and now it goes higher and higher, or it develops. Development of the conflict, or interest, or the suspense of the readers, of the audience, it occurs. It takes place a lot in the second portion. So the very first was exposition, and the second it was rising actions, right? And now the third one, very very important. It is the third one because now it is at the highest top. That is because it is at the peak. So it is climax. Climax, when the problem is on the highest peak, or climax is taking place a lot. So climax, that is turning point. We can say that it is the climax is the turning point of the story, because it is very very important, and here the suspense or the interest of the reader, it goes to the highest point. So it is the turning point of the story, and usually the main character comes face to face with the conflict, because now they are introduced with each and everything. All the characters, they come to know everything, and now they face all the problems on the conflicts face to face. And now here it is the third point when we find that there will be a lot of change in the character, right? So our character, he will be changed, means now he will not be a flat character, but he will be a round character. So this point is very important, and this point is the point of climax. Then just look here, now it is coming down, so it is falling action. Okay, action was rising here, action was rising here, or actions were rising here, but now the actions are falling here. That is falling action. Falling action, now all loose ends of the plot are tied up, means now here we find that all the controversy, all the conflicts, all the problem, they come to their solution, or they are just so resolved. They come to their solution. So the conflict or the problem or the climax are now resolved at this point. And the last one, now we find here, when we find the end of the story, the end of the novel, or the end of the plot, we find here resolution. Resolution, now the story comes to a reasonable ending, now we get satisfaction, and we find a solution to all the problems, and now there is an end of the story. So this was the plot and organization of incidents and events, and all these were the parts of plot: exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and in the end there is a resolution.